Hey guys, I got Reese here from Frugal Repair. He's with his family on his way to Yellowstone, and they've got their RV, and so we're kind of checking out each other's solar setups. So we're on top of my RV right now, where I've got about 2,100 watts of solar, and I use different types of solar generators. And Reese has gone with a very similar setup in the sense that it's on his RV, but other than that, the similarities stop there. So what's different about your RV?
You mean the solar setup of the RV?
Yeah.
Well, first off, thanks for having me. Thanks
Sure.
for hosting me. Ben has helped me with some of my solar questions on my RV. What we did on our RV is use something called a SIGS panel. So it's not like a monocrystalline panels like you have here, the rigid panels. They're thin film, flexible panels, and they have adhesive on the back of them. So they're really nice where you can just peel off, and stick them down.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been using on a trip, and it's been working great.
Yeah, I know when I did this, one of my concerns was the weight and the wind, because everybody's concerned about weight with RVs. And with these amount of panels here, I figured I added somewhere around 300 pounds to the roof.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
300 pounds plus you and me standing up here, the roof's doing pretty okay. I'm surprised. But that was one of my big concerns. And I know a lot of people don't want to penetrate with screws into the roof. So that was my concern, but that was why I did this experiment to see how it did.
Yeah.
How has it been working with yours as far as the mount goes?
Well, this looks great, by the way. Ours, that's what I did. I didn't want to do any roof protrusions, or at least as minimal as possible. So I got away with one. The main trunk, cables going into the RV to go down to the inverter or to the controller. So, but it's been working great. The cable management, I use zip ties to hold everything up. We've driven thousands of miles already, gone through windstorms, highways, everything. Hasn't moved a bit. So it's worked.
Awesome.
It's worked out really well. And I put 1,200 watts of solar on there, and I was just thinking about it this morning. There have been a couple of times where I've looked at the input, and it's on a flat roof, so you're not getting the best angle to the sun. But I've noticed a few times that I've gotten 1,200 watts of solar.
Really?
Yeah.
So the panels are doing that well.
The panels are doing that well.
I think just the SIGs are the best way to go as far as efficiency and everything. They cost more, but you get that back really fast because, with these solar panels laying flat, I've noticed a bare minimum of a 10 to 20% loss compared to them being up at an angle to the sun. So I know a lot of people with RVs, they put their panels up on a tilt, and that's a lot of work getting the actuators and everything.
Yeah.
And that was too daunting for me, which is why I just maxed out my roof with as much as I could do. Have you used all the square footage, or what have you done laying yours out?
Well, if you take a look at the way I did it, I tried to put as many on there as I could, but also leave a little bit of room so I could go up there or work or take care of stuff, and also minimize the amount of shade that might go on them.
Yeah.
So here you have an air conditioner. You might have something else. I've got 2 air conditioners and some other things that are on the roof that might cast a shade on the panels. So I tried to kind of pick the best of all the worlds of minimizing shade, maximizing space. So it's not exactly perpendicular or parallel to the box of the roof. But the solar doesn't care. It just doesn't want the shade. So that's what I tried to do.
And then for mine, I just grab a solar generator from my garage, whichever one I feel like. Right now I'm running the Bluetti AC 200 Max because we're just doing setup, getting ready for a week-long trip. What did you guys do?
So I have the EcoFlow Power Kit with a 10 kilowatt hour battery in there. Well, it's 2 5 kilowatt hour batteries. So we got pretty big capacity in there, and it's been working great with the 1,200 watts of solar. So we can, as long as it's sunny out or even partially sunny, we're able to make power and keep everything going. And we're powering our refrigerator, which is the biggest power draw because it uses a heating element, doesn't use a compressor in an RV. And that's been able to keep up with it for the most part. Okay. About 400 to 500 watts per hour. It shuts off once it gets to the temperature, but when I check it, it's usually about 400 watts of draw. Yeah,
it surprises me how much RV fridges use. It's an incredible, compared especially to like a residential house, residential fridge, I mean, because it's so much smaller. So you'd think they're efficient, but even like a smaller RV fridge is going to use a lot more energy than a residential fridge.
Yeah, and we could burn propane, but then, we've got the free sunlight, so just use
might
that.
As well. Yeah. And then, so I've used the Delta Pros from EcoFlow. Is there a particular reason you went with the power kit over a solar generator, or it was just what was easy at the time?
Well, the power kit is made in part, the target audience is for RV use. And so in my situation, what I wanted to do was try to do the least amount of work with the most amount of benefit. And so the power kit is mainly for like a 30 amp system. Our RV is a bigger one, it's a 50 amp system, but that really doesn't matter. The only place that matters is when you're trying to fire both air conditioners at the same time. It doesn't have that surge power. I think it has 7,200 watts of surge power. So if you're trying to do both at the same time, it can't really do that. You can use a soft starter that I think would keep them going, no problem. But you know, so it wasn't a problem to wire both 120 legs into the breaker panel, because there's nothing in there that runs on 240.
Right.
So that's not really a problem. So that didn't really matter to us. And with the batteries being separate from the whole controller, I can just put the batteries in another spot, wire everything up, and it works great. It works great over Bluetooth. It has a screen, and I can monitor everything. I can control it remotely. So it's been working really well for us.
What would you say the lowest you've gotten on your battery on this trip has been? Like, what percentage of battery have you gotten down to?
20, 10%, something like that.
So you've actually used it quite a bit.
Yeah, we've had to gotten to a point where, like, you know, we're gonna go out to an RV park just so that we can like charge up the batteries, you know, fill up with water and do the dump and everything.
Make it more convenient.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've been able to go several days.
Yeah.
With our family of 7.
Which is a lot of power. It's I think people underestimate how much power people use just by having more people. Even in my house, we have 7 people there, and oftentimes people ask why I have 2 washers and 2 dryers, and it's like, well, there's just too many people.
And 2 dishwashers, maybe?
Well, I wish. I guess I'd be the other dishwasher, but
yeah, you do.
But with your RV, are you planning on doing anything else with it solar-wise, or do you think you've got it pretty good as what you want to do?
No, I don't really have any other plans solar-wise. I think the 1,200 watts is plenty. Plenty for, and this trip has kind of proven that that's kind of a good amount. I don't think we need to add any more.
Okay.
It hasn't been very hot, so we haven't been running the air conditioners. So that would be another test. You know, improving the air conditioners and potentially adding a refrigerator that has a compressor to lower that power consumption. Those are potential upgrades that I would do.
Okay.
But mainly, it's a really old RV, so a lot of it is like fixing the stuff that's broken. And we've had to do a few of those things on this trip. So a lot of weird electrical issues, and we're getting them done one at a time.
Awesome. For RV cooling, what I ended up doing is using a Mr. Cool. So I don't actually use this rooftop AC unit anymore, because this one's a 13,500 BTU. So I found it uses about 1,100 watts while it's running. And that's a lot of power.
Yeah.
That's why I switched to the Mr. Cool, and that's been great. I usually only use about 300 to 400 watt hours per hour.
Wow.
And so when we go on our trips, we're lucky enough that we have enough battery capacity. We just run it nonstop. So anytime we need to cool off, it works. And then it also supplements the propane furnace as well. So we save on propane there. But yeah, it's the air conditioner and the fridge are the biggest energy consumers in pretty much any RV. So I've used an Everchill DC fridge. It's a 10.7 cubic foot, so it's pretty big. And the Mr. Cool, and either running the fridge on propane and then doing the Mr. Cool, basically we don't have any energy concerns.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if you guys are looking for something like that, go check those out. Is there anything you want to add about what you should do for RV solar or anything like that?
Well, I mean, I was mentioning this to you earlier, but I don't think I would recommend getting an RV unless you like to be handy or fix things.
Yeah.
Because especially when you get an older one, there's no other warranty service. You're the warranty service, right?
Yeah.
You got to fix everything. And so I would say that. But if you like to tinker, you know, there's plenty to tinker with. So if people want to add solar, I would say that just go for it. You know, it's a fun project, and especially on an RV like this, you can just set up shop, start making power. And like ours right now, it's not the sunniest of days out, but I didn't do anything, and I just checked it, and it's already making power, filling up the batteries. So if that's a desire of yours, I'd say go for it. And there's plenty of information out there, plenty of videos to watch to help you. I know it can be an intimidating project working with electricity, and you want to be safe and you want to use common sense. But there's a lot of information out there to help you to get it done and then enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, absolutely agree. It's daunting, especially when you're talking about drilling holes and stuff. Everyone's a little concerned about that.
Yeah.
But once you do it, you're like, oh, that was it.
Yeah.
And now I get to enjoy it, you know, years down the road, and it's still working for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you said 3 years. You haven't really done much anything here,
I haven't.
So.
Yeah, I meant to do all the wire management. I got this project done in time for using it. I never ended up even doing anything with the wires, and some of them are sun bleached and some of them are not. And I've been amazed how well it's actually held up. There's always going to be those people who do get the leaks or do have the issues, and it usually just comes down to not paying attention when putting it in. So if you go slow and you make sure you're focused, I don't think there's going to be really any difficulty doing it. And it's a great way to get into solar, because if you mess it up, it's okay to fix it. It's not too terrible. Whereas you do it on your house, it's a little bit scarier. So it's nice starting with something simple like this. So awesome, guys. Make sure to go check out Frugal Repair. That's Reese's channel. And if you have questions, shoot him questions. He's there to help. He has amazing content about saving money and being thrifty, repairing all sorts of things. And part of that involves being thrifty with solar. So thanks, guys. We'll see you all in the next one.